Good morning. Good morning. It's Wednesday. How the chuff is it Wednesday already? Already. We are halfway through week 18 in the COVID-19 lockdown. Week 19 of the Show Up, Wise Up, Rise Up show, y'all. Who's first off the post this morning? Who's going to be saying hello? Get your comments in. Tell me where you are in the world. Tell me what the weather's doing. How are you? I am your host. My name is Dani Wallace and I am the Queen Bee. I'm aware it's quite a bold statement, but the statement belongs to you too, y'all. It is your reclamation of success, of abundance, of health, of happiness, and all those sorts of things. So reclaim it. I want to see you saying in the comments, I am the Queen Bee or the King Bee or the Royal Bee. However you identify, it is all good. Good morning, Becky Dillon. Good morning. How are you? Welcome to the Show Rise Up show this morning. I am in a different energy than I was approximately 30 seconds ago when I was speaking to our guest backstage, when I was just saying, again, I struggle to get out of bed, but there is no way that I am not serving you up some of this Queen Bee fire. So I am pulling it out of my ass this morning. I don't know how I'm doing it, but here I am. Joanne Smith, good morning. Hello, Wednesday Hive. Hello, Spire. Hello, good morning, lovely Queen Bee. It is a reclamation. The statement, I am a Queen Bee, is not about me. Can you believe, even though people introduced me as the Queen Bee herself? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to argue. But remember, I flew solo last week. And I explained to you, for those of you that watched it, why I am the Queen Bee is a thing, and it definitely is a thing. It belongs to you as much as it belongs to me, and that is what I want for you this morning. This is the headspace I want you to get in. It's a reclamation. What can you do halfway through the week to reclaim that birthright of success, of health, of wealth, of happiness? Becky Dillon, happy Wednesday. She's still in bed. See, you need a rocket. Like, I am happily here as the rocket out of your ass, up your ass, wherever, around your ass. You might want to be getting out of bed sometime soon. You might just want to relax and have a little brew and watch the show this morning. We've got a fabulous guest joining us. Good morning, Kaylee Judge. How are you? Again, approximately 30 seconds ago, I looked like ass. Speaking of asses, so I'm just going to pop a little bit of bronzer on and make myself look a bit more lively, y'all. Look at this. It's amazing what a little bit of warmth can do on your mush to wake yourself up into it. My teeth brush, I've had a wash, but I was looking pretty great. And I had an early night last night. Is anybody feeling a bit of an energy shift? Is it just me? Or is it just that I'm just doing a lot and I'm tired? Is that what it is? I don't know. Morning, I haven't even opened the curtains yet. Beckett, well, neither have I, if I'm honest. I'm having a luxurious lie-in. Nice. I love it. Thank you for sharing your fire to motivate us. You are the Queen Bee. Yes, you are, Becky Jones. Good morning, Joe Wildsmith Trafford. Welcome to the show this morning. Good morning, Lizzie Adams. If you are watching along, do us a favor, hit the like, hit the love button, and hit the share button. We want to get as many people watching this fabulous show as possible to give them a little bit of an antidote to the very miserable media. I'm shattered at the moment, never works so much. Same, sister, same. It is crazy. It is crazy town here. Well, certainly in the online space. Let me get my face on. Come on now. Let's look lively, right? Let me get prepared for my guest. What's the weather doing? I'm up. It's dull and wet on ground in Oldham. You look amazing. I feel like jet lag. That is definitely a feeling. So are we saying it's a bit shit or are we saying it's rainy, Becky? Which one are we doing for Oldham, Manchester area? It is, well, we're doing the same here. It is wazzed it down overnight and it is definitely a bit shit in the Preston area here in the northwest. Let me know where you are in the UK. What is the weather doing outside? We are very British. We like to talk about the weather at the beginning of the show. It's a great connector, isn't it? What's the weather like where you are? Oh, that's a bit shit. Here we go. Look, starting to come together. I don't have time to do my eyebrows. I can't be faffing around. I don't have time to quite be so faffy. Oh, look. Little bit of eyeshadow, picking it all up here now, look. Boo! Good morning. Oh, it's early this morning. Another egg chips. Come on, Ivy. Come and say good morning to everybody. Oh, she's going to do like a little ninja crawl. She's going to pop up here like a little Jack in the Box. You fit? Oh, she can't fit. Hang on. Wait. You ready? Oh. Let me move Becky's comments and then they can see you. There you go. Say good morning to everybody. Morning. Right. You can go and get every daddy time to get up. Because we're playing Wallace Roulette this morning. And he's there. But he's not snoring, which is good. It is wet and dull in Bangor. Got a rainy bee in the Bangor area. Manchester Ordershot is wet and cold, but breezy coming from the west. I like it. Joanne, my energy is a little tired as lockdown comes to a close. Is the energy shifted? I feel like it. I feel like, we were talking about energy on Monday, and there is definitely a shift in kind of consciousness and a shift in how we're all feeling at the minute. I think there's a little bit of fear going on. There's a little bit of tempers being frayed. Parents are getting to the end of the tether. They are now being faced with another 8 weeks off school. There is no fault of the kids, but it's hard work. What, Ivy? Oh, no, you'll have to tell Daddy. It's sleeping. Give him a kick. It's hissing it down in Cheshire. Another one in the Black Club. Oh, but right, we've got to think of something to wake ourselves up. We've got to think of something to get ourselves a little bit jiggy this morning. What can we do? What can we get excited about? Today is quite a big day in IATQB land. On Friday and Monday, because it was split across 2 days, I had another interview for a national magazine, which is fabulous. And also today, I'm going to be launching my the highest end package that I have. So we've been doing some work on it, making sure that the value is absolutely incredible. But we have my VIP one-to-one package. So it's the only way that you'll be able to work with me VIP outside of a mastermind, which I'm very excited to launch later on today and tell you all about. It's for those people that kind of don't want to do a course, that want to, really intensively get all their talks done, get introduced to people, that book speakers, and then get some support and some critique and some feedback once you get live talks afterwards. It's a really, really incredible package for those people that are ready to work at that level. It's super exciting. It is dull and wet in Cornwall, which is unusual for Cornwall, isn't it? There we go. They're right in the southwest there. It's a bit rainy. Bangor up more towards Ireland. This way. Are we better there? You all know my geography ain't absolutely banging. How else are we doing? Berkshire, south, dull, cloudy, but dry, so it's a bit shit. Little drizzle here. We've got a drizzly bee for Birmingham. It's raining in North Wales. Oh, look at it. Is just a bit shit today, isn't it? Maybe that's what it is. Right, where are we? There we go. Shall we? It's drizzly in Leeds. I want to use it. Where are my international bees with the Scorchio? It's Scorchio in Norfolk. I knew Norfolk wouldn't let me down. There we go, Norfolk. You've got a little bit of sunshine going on there. Drizzly in Leeds. We'll bang that in the centre in the sort of Yorkshire area. There we go. Right, you guys. I am, without further ado, going to bring my fabulous guest on to the show this morning. I have been blessed, absolutely blessed, to have this person in my life for lots of different reasons. She's not only an incredible friend, she's an incredible photographer. She's a friend of the IATQB movement. She's one of our official photographers for our events. She's one of the best events photographers that I've ever come across. And we're going to be talking about all things photography this morning. Please welcome to the show. Let me get this comment off. Please welcome to the show, in lieu of the applause button, please press the like, the love button, and the share button. We have the gorgeous, the fabulous, the silken voiced Vicki Head.
Morning.
I'm getting good at this. Getting good at these introductions.
Love it.
It's worth coming on my show just so that I can give everyone like a big confidence boost.
I love it. Oh, do you know all this talk of rain? It's sunny over here on the East Coast.
Of course it's sunny on the East Coast. Of course it is. And the Northwest, we are we're just blessed with the weather being a little bit meh is probably the best way to explain the weather. We never get the extremes of anything really in the northwest. We always get kind of cloud and drizzly, or if it's the rest of the sun, if the rest of the the UK is sunny and glorious, we just get it's all right. We had, if you remember, so for the first bit of lockdown, for the first 10 weeks, actually, for the first 10 weeks of lockdown, it was like we had our summer. So I get it now that we've pushed our luck and that's been it. But I remember a couple of years ago, I think maybe 2017, we had a summer in summer.
Oh, I love the sunshine. I just feel so much happier when it's sunny. And all through the beginning of lockdown, when everybody was out sunbathing and doing the gardens, I was sort of like huddled away in my office, not seeing any. So I'd still need some more summer, please.
Yeah, we've got to eke it out a little bit, and we've got to do a little bit of a sunshine dance to make the sunshine happen again.
Definitely.
And I found it really interesting. A couple of years ago when we had that summer during summer, it started out a week, and everyone was like, "Oh, it's cracking flags and it's dead excited. Look, it's summer, everybody! Look at that." Or it's sunshiny at the very least. And then 2 weeks, it was sunshiny and it was fabulous. Then 3 weeks, people started to get suspicious. Like, they're looking around thinking, what actually is going on? Are we going to get a summer this year? And indeed we did. We got a summer a couple of years ago. This year it's been more of a spring. We had a springer is what we had.
Maybe we're going to have a brilliant Indian summer and it's going to take us all the way.
Yeah, that'd be fabulous. Take us all the way to drinking white wine on the beaches at Christmas like they do in Australia. Or anything can happen in 2020. Anything can happen. I am not dismissing any possibilities for this year.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Vicki, welcome to the show, my angel. I'm so happy to have you.
It is lovely to be here. Thank you for having me.
You are more than welcome. So there is a very loose format to the show, and it's such a loose format. It just gives us something to go at, and you and I have spent many a long hour in in restaurants in Amsterdam, chewing the fat over a number of courses. I think that's probably been one of my favorite days this year, actually.
That was one of my favorite days. It was, I think, sometimes just to stop and be in the moment and just enjoy the company that you've got, and without time pressures and I've got to rush here, I've got to rush there. And we did. We had it's like tapas, wasn't it, throughout the day?
Yeah.
We
was in this restaurant in Amsterdam. We'd gone away with a group of people in Amsterdam, people that we're connected to and people that we network with and friends of ours. And then on one of the days that we were there, everyone wanted to go kind of here, there, and everywhere, and it was raining, wasn't it? It was in January that we went, and we found this restaurant called Plek. In this, it's like a big old shipyard where the artists have moved in. So you walk. It was like Harry Potter, wasn't it? You walk into this.
You walk into a storage container.
Yeah, and then it opened out into this beautiful restaurant overlooking the bay, overlooking the docks. And they served different meals throughout the day. So they served breakfast at breakfast, then they served brunch, then they served lunch, then they served an afternoon snack, and then they served dinner. And we just thought, we don't have to actually go and visit any more restaurants for the rest of the day.
No.
We could just work our way. We could just work our way through this, and that is exactly what we did. We started off in one place in the restaurant, and then we moved to a different table in the restaurant, and then we moved up as the sun was setting. We moved up to.
But we worked. We did a shoot in the morning first, so it was a work day.
It was a work day, but it was one of the only times possibly this year that with friends I've pressed pause. And just like you say, just enjoyed the moment and just enjoyed the time and not think, oh, I've got to run off somewhere or I've got to be somewhere. Or it was so freeing, and it made it onto my list of things that I want to. Then of course we have lockdown, but it made it onto the list of things that I want to do more often, is to spend time with friends like that, where You don't run around like blue arse flies.
Yeah, so important. I have one brother, that's it, one sibling, and every Christmas and birthday he'll say to me, "What do you want for Christmas or your birthday?" And I just say to hang out.
Yeah.
That is my stock response every time.
Yeah.
And so that's what we do. We will plan something and just go, and it might turn into a bit of a pub crawl. We might go to a theatre, or we might go to a restaurant or do something, but we just spend time without time pressures, and it's lovely.
It is. It was so lovely, and it was so lovely to do that with you. So, how did we meet? Because that's I mean, our friendship had progressed like considerably to do that. We were in Amsterdam, and it was fabulous. But we didn't just meet in Amsterdam, did we? That would have been crazy.
It was the first time we actually met in person in Amsterdam, in Manchester Airport. Before we were on the way, was the first time we actually met in person. I first sort of got to see you, I think, as you joined Now What Brad Burton's Now What Club, and sort of see you in there, and you were doing your lives from the car and getting ready to go to gigs and things, and I'd kind of joined the Hive, and I did your first little taster course and things, and then did your the following on from that, when you were doing your next kind of first Be Inspired, took part in that, and it was brilliant. I mean, I was blown away by the supportive nature of the Hive.
Yeah,
the fact that it is so empowering for women in particular. I mean, it's empowering for everybody, but especially for women, because there is a lot. And I think women are such strong creatures, and women supporting women is a force to behold. And this is what you've kind of created with it. But I came up to Preston for one of your days. But I think Manchester Airport was the first time we actually met in person on the way to Dam.
My goodness. Yeah. So, but since then, like you say, since then, you did Be Heard, so you want to be a speaker before Christmas as part of my first ever launch. You came along to one of my I can't wait to do these in real life workshops again, because they're a great day, like a consolidatory day, and it's nice to kind of get in a room. And I miss training. Like I love speaking, but I miss training. I miss seeing those light bulb moments going off, and people learning stuff in the day. Like I love that in a live environment. Online is ace. Online is awesome, but just want to hug in rooms.
And the thing is, you bring great energy. I mean, you've done that with your ITQ big TV throughout all of lockdown, and you've kind of brought the energy in the morning, even if you're still feeling a bit sort of sleepy-eyed. You're very good at that, at bringing it. But for anybody that hasn't met you, I think when they go on one of your days, or they come to Be Inspired, or they come and see things, what they will see is that in real life there is so much more energy that you bring as well. People
are like, is that even possible?
Is it even possible? Yes, it is.
It's so funny. And of course, you are our official photographer for Be Inspired. And that came off the back of seeing the work that you'd done for TEDx's, seeing the work that you'd done for other fabulous national speakers like Brad Burton. And we spoke, and I was like, I can't think of anybody I'd rather come and shoot this event. It is a speaking event. It is a high energy event. We need someone who is skilled in the field. We can't just have somebody who's, a specific branding photographer or a wedding photographer. It's got to be someone who knows how to shoot speakers, because that's a different skill in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely it is, because there's a lot. If otherwise, the danger is you've got somebody who is just there pressing a shutter, taking pictures, and at that point the speaker, the mid sentence, and so the shots are like and that's not assets. What you need from it are things that show what you're doing, but showing you at your best. And so what I try and do as well, whenever I'm for if it's whether it's TEDx or sort of like your events, is if there's an opportunity to speak to the people who are the speakers for the day, especially if they're not that experienced, about how to pause, how to have the presence that you have, in order to help give them the best assets from the day.
Yeah, and it's something that not many people think about. So you go to, and one of the things that I love about the way that, you know, we've pieced together as a team, we've pieced together what the learning experience is for everybody that comes into, you know, into the IATQB world. And I don't want to make this about me. We're going to talk about you in just a second, but it's that knowing that it isn't just about talking. It's knowing that you've got to have the assets, and it's knowing that you've got to do certain things whilst you're speaking in order to create those assets in live time. So speaking is so multi-layered. It isn't just about delivering out of your face what the message is. It's about the connection. It's about getting that connection in real life, and then also thinking, okay, so I've got to stop and pause here and smile to make sure that I don't get a picture around like this.
It's definitely, it's about there's a lot of learned skill, and so there's a lot that they learn, you know, obviously we'll learn from you and learn from other people that are involved, like you know, like myself, and it's and practice and confidence and all of these things, you know, help to, you know, really create something. But from a photographer's perspective, it's also about watching. It's about finding that moment. It's about being aware of what people are doing and how they're being and what's likely to happen next, in order to, you know, for me to have the, you know, really get the shots that look, just make the difference, you know.
And that's it. And being able to have a photographer that's specific to the event means that I know the talks inside out before our delegates get on stage and do their talks. So I know there's going to be certain points that are going to be dead photographable.
Yeah.
So instead of you as a photographer having to wing it, actually we get to say, so Victoria Lysop, for example, talked about alopecia, and she's like, you know, at one point she took off a wig and swung it around her head. It's a beautiful moment that not only did we catch on camera, we caught on video, but it was best that you know about that.
Definitely. Yeah. I always sort of say, if there's anything going to happen, if you're going to do anything, you know, then let me know, because my best opportunity to get it is if I know when to expect it,
when it's coming.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's talk more about you, because you are not only are you fabulous, you're bloody talented, you know, in your field. But tell us, how did you come to photography?
Later on, you know, I'm not the person that had a box brownie from when I was 6. You know, I'm not that person. I have 3 children, and I split up with their dad when they were babies. I had 3 children under 2.5, and I had a lot of focus that I needed to do, especially because there's some medical things going on with one of my daughters. So a lot of years, the focus was about caring for my daughter, looking after all of my kids. And photography wasn't sort of even a thing I did, really. And later on, I kind of had a new camera for a birthday present and started actually taking pictures a bit more than I had done previously, and thought, do you know what? You know, actually, I really enjoy this. I'd always been quite artistic and quite creative, and I thought, I want to learn more. So I kind of did a course. I learned a bit more about it, and then I thought it got to a point when my children were older, and throughout these years, I'd had different things. I'd had a sort of a bit of an abusive relationship for a while. Different things had been going on, but my identity through all that time was always in relation to other people. It was always about who I was as a mother, or who I was as a carer, who was, you know, and it was suggested to me that I do a degree, and I had it always been expected that I was going to go to university after school, and I hadn't gone, and at the time it wasn't right for me to go. And this was suggested to me, and I thought, oh my goodness, like, how do I even do that? How could I afford it? How could I manage, you know? And I was fearful. My initial reaction was like, oh my goodness, I can't do that.
Couldn't possibly.
Couldn't possibly do that. And like, wasn't even clever enough, and I probably couldn't even do it. And how, you know, all of these things.
You're one of the cleverest people I know.
But you have all these doubts. And I think especially, you know, and you know yourself, when you've had relationships that have chipped away at your self-esteem, at your confidence, it's very easy to sort of lose, you know, who you are and what you can do. So anyway, in the end, I kind of was persuaded, and it was like a leap of faith. It was, you know, just sort of like I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to make it work. I'm just going to do it. And a couple of years prior to that, I'd read Dani Wallace's Yes Man, and that book had a really profound effect on me, because I sort of read it and thought, do you know what? I'm going to have my New Year's resolution is to say yes to everything other, less as long as it's not too illegal or too dangerous or not very
and
nice.
therefore it is a concept. It's definitely
You know,
something that
I just think
I
say
subscribe to.
yes. Yeah, be open to it, because you never know what's going to happen. If you're open to, and then it just leads, one opportunity leads to another opportunity, to another opportunity.
Yeah.
But you've got to be open to it happening. So I just thought, okay, I'm going to do this degree. I started assisting a photographer around the same time. So I was kind of learning very much, you know, boots on the ground, whilst at the same time learning a lot of really academic stuff. And particularly about advertising photography, you know, what's one of my real areas. So this is one of the reasons that I do, although I do lots of things, like I do weddings and portraiture, and but advertising, branding, marketing, commercial photography, and all the things that happen to that, from headshots to events to things for editorial, that's my bag. That's the thing that really interests me. And yeah, I'd started doing that, just learning, started my business. And so I was in my 40s getting my degree, starting my business. You know, it didn't happen till I was in my 40s. And I hear people sometimes, and you know, you have that thing, don't you? We think, I don't know what to want to do when I grow up. But you're sort of, you know, 39 at that point.
I still don't.
But you know, I was definitely that person. I kind of, I'd always wanted to be on stage and to act. I'd always done a lot of theatre, you know, over the years. But other than that, I didn't know what I wanted to be. And then when I sort of found photography, it brought in lots of other things that I'd done in my life. It brought in things that I knew about makeup, and years ago I just trained as a beauty therapist. It brought in things that I knew about lighting. It brought, and all the stage things, to thinking about, you know, the narrative, what you're putting across. All of these things kind of came together, and it just fitted. And then it gave me an identity that was about me and about what I do, that was not in relation to other people. So it was fab.
And that's the beautiful thing, isn't it? That when you uncover your loves in later life, actually all the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle kind of fit together. Like all paths led you to where you were. So even if it made you unsure at the time, actually sometimes those opportunities don't show themselves to you until you're ready, here and here, as well as, like, you know, from a fate point of view. But actually you've got to do all of the life learning, because again, and this comes across in your photography, in the way that you think about your photography. There's, you know, there's a lovely groundedness in your photography, and there's a lovely, you know, there's a lovely playfulness in your photography as well, that, you know, it's just all of these things that, you know, and you work so well with different people. When we were in Amsterdam, you went to, well, how many different people had a shoot? How many shoots did you do?
Five.
You had 5 different people, 5 completely different personalities. You're like me, I want to like hang off things and peek round things and be all kinds of crazy. And then some people are more corporate. Or another one of our friends wanted a shoot in the red light district, because she's a relationship therapist and a sex, you know, she works with sex therapy. And it was just seeing all 5 of those different shoots and being able to portray with those, you know, those subjects, all 5 of their different personalities, is such a skill, but maybe not one that you would have got to had you not had all the experiences that you'd had before. It's like you say, this perfect storm of having done beauty therapy and your experiences.
Things come together. And I think also earlier on, I probably would have been so tied up and wrapped up and with what was happening with my kids, with what was happening with my daughter. We had a lot of, you know, hospital appointments and MRIs and things going on. So there was a lot to sort of, you know, deal with that. And so I probably wouldn't have had the headspace. But I think as well, I understand, you know, I am a big girl. I'm a fatty, you know.
They're all same. Same.
I understand very much what it's like to have, you know, body image, you know, not having so much great confidence about that. But the interesting thing is that I photographed, you know, very young, very slender, very beautiful people. And it's not any size, any shape. People have think
hang-ups are the same, aren't they?
hang-ups are hang-ups, you
Yeah.
know, and it could be that people are, you know, they think they've got a big nose, they don't like the teeth, they think they don't like the muffin top, they don't like, you know, there's
Can you
always
edit this out? Can you edit that out? Like, what magic work can you do with Photoshop to make me look like a size 8 and I'm a size 22? All of that sort of stuff.
yeah, absolutely. So I understand, first of all, how fearful people feel about being in front of a camera.
Yeah.
So one of the things that they tend to do is avoid it, because you think, I don't like it. And if I, you know, if I had £1 for every time somebody said, I'm really not photogenic, I take a terrible picture, you know, this is how most people feel. Yeah. And as soon as you have a camera pointing at you, you forget how to smile. So you're kind of doing that. You don't know what to do with your arms anymore.
Yeah.
Everything feels awkward. And so people avoid it.
I can't bear smiling for the camera, like smiling for the camera. I've got to be thinking about something. And we did this, didn't we? We went to when we were in this unit, like this artists unit, weren't we? Yeah. And I was sat there, and at the beginning of us photographing together, we was kind of doing some sitting poses, and I ended up saying, I can't sit and pose. I can't sit and pose and smile. Yeah. And then you was like, right, well, play then. Yeah. And like, do what you need to do. And then as soon as you kind of gave me that permission, we got some banging shots as well.
Yeah. No, I love them. And but it is about what works for the person. And it's about, and you have that within a shoot. It becomes about trust. It becomes about getting to know you. It becomes about really showcasing you. And like you say, there was 5 different people with very different shoots. You know, one of them was in a kind of media company's, you know, it was sort of like an interview thing. There was very different things going on.
It was very corporate, wasn't it, that one?
Yeah. You know, and it's about what's relevant for the person and about showcasing them, but also about making them genuinely feel comfortable, because it's otherwise you get sort of like a smile with the mouth, but then like rabbit in the head,
all the way up to the eyes. Yeah,
and you've got to get it so it's actually really shining out of you. So it should be fun. It should be fun. And so it's about trying to make that experience one that people can really enjoy. They can just kind of go like, actually, I'm in safe hands. This is safe, you know.
And that is the beauty, you know, of working with someone like you, having those safe pair of hands, that loving pair of hands, that pair of hands that actually turns around and says, you know, you can push this a little bit if you want to push this a little bit. Like, when you feel safe with someone, you don't mind trying different things as well to get the shots, and working with photographers that are kind like that instead of ones that are just like going for the shot at all costs. Sometimes it's a bit of a process. The beginning of the shoot is very different to the end of a shoot, right?
Very much so.
Like, you might as well write off the first like 10 shots.
The first bit is just about breathing out, just being used to the fact there's a camera there, you know, somewhere in the vicinity, even if it's not sort of straight on face to face. It's just about being in that kind of closeness. You know, you're not necessarily that close physically, but people are very conscious, and they have this, you know, kind of like, there's a camera, so where can I hide, you know, instinct. And it concerns me as well that I think particularly as women, you know, apart from, I mean, I work a lot with people in businesses, however big or small, you know, from teeny tiny businesses to sort of great big businesses. But it concerns me that as women, we have a tendency to be the ones behind the camera and not on the other side.
Yeah, it's the picture of the kids, isn't it? You take it like as a mum, I'm taking a picture of the kids all the time, or I want a picture of the kids and Wally. So nobody ever stops and goes, my sister does now. She's quite aware of this. No one actually goes, stop, go and get a picture with your kids. Yeah.
It's so important, because I think the danger is otherwise we just have this, there will just be an absence. You know, there's just, you know, I have years where, you know, I went before I was taking pictures and I wasn't actually taking that many myself, but I'm not hardly in any. You know, I sort of think, I don't like how I look. I can see my double chins, or, you know, this, that, and the other. And I think you have to get to a point that you think, okay, I don't feel comfortable doing this, but I need to get over it a little bit, because otherwise you're just not there. And the people that love you, they don't see things like double chins, you know.
No.
Whatever your hang up is that you think, I don't like this. The people who see you, they see somebody they love, you know. When you think yourself, when you look at the pictures of people you love, you're not judging. You're not looking at them thinking like, you know,
we're losing a bit of timber. Like growing up, and I know my mum won't mind me saying this, my mum's a big lady, and but she always has been. And I don't know her to be any different. And when I was growing up, it's not something that I
No.
saw. I didn't see it with disgust, or that
No.
was just my mum.
Yeah.
And that's just the way that she looked. That's how my mum looks like. In fact, it would be really strange if she didn't look like that,
Yeah.
actually. But you know, it's like when people say they don't see color or whatever. You see it, of course, you see it, but you're not criticizing it.
No.
Nobody's going, oh God,
Yeah.
look. They're just that's how that person looks, and that person's beautiful.
Yeah. And our media often, plays a big part in the way that things have been very photoshopped, often in magazines, and the things that we're seeing, it kind of puts unrealistic expectations often on people, particularly on women. If you've got newspapers sort of shaming, celebrities for having cellulite with pictures on the beach, it immediately makes you think, oh my goodness, I shouldn't have any cellulite. Well, like, most people have cellulite, most women have cellulite. It's there, it's a thing,
Yeah.
but it's not an ugly thing. It's just
No,
a thing.
it's just a thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly that. Exactly that. So it's not just photography that you do either, is it? You teach people to take photos as
Yeah,
well,
I
right?
do. I teach college students and degree students photography, and I teach people who've got a camera who just would like to be able to take better photos, whether that's
Yeah,
of their kids, of their holidays, just understanding how to operate their cameras a bit more.
because it isn't as easy. It's like back in the day, I remember in the late 90s, even early 2000s, that it was disposable cameras and it was point and press, and there was very little involved in the process. Whereas now I even look at my phone and there are settings within my camera. One of the reasons why I bought this particular phone is Samsung P20. One of the reasons why I S20, sorry. One of the reasons why I bought it is because it had a really high spec camera
Yeah,
in a point and press capacity.
yeah,
Now then, there are so many more settings on there that could even further enhance
yeah,
my photo capture capability, but I don't use them because I want a point and press, and the rest of it confuses me. So to have
yeah.
we need
It's
to be able to make these things work to make them better.
Yeah, and the principles are the same, whether it's with a DSLR or a kind of point and shoot that's got some, functionality, but not the same as your sort of full on kind of cameras, or even the things that you'll have the options of on your phone. The principles of them work in the same way. So having that understanding definitely will give you kind of more capabilities with what you do. And improve it. But it's one of those things that there's a lot of people who enjoy. It's kind of a bit of an addictive hobby for people quite often, and it's they can because it's quite artistic, because it's quite creative. People like being creative, and sometimes it is about. There's always a shot. There's always a. If it's something like landscape, like this picture behind me at the moment was taken up in Scotland, and it was. I went away with a couple of photographers. We hired a place to stay. We were out doing some landscapes. This was the most beautiful beach, beautiful white, sand, beautiful clear water. And the nice thing if you're a photographer and you want to go and take pictures, you're best to go away with other photographers, because if you go with muggles, then people always say, well, why are we getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, and it's about the light, isn't it?
It's
You've got
about
to get the light every single time. There are different times in the day where you get a different feel as well. Like 3 o'clock in the afternoon in the summer,
yeah,
you'll get a completely different
yeah.
experience than you would at 11 o'clock in the morning in
Yeah,
spring.
definitely. The light's very harsh in the middle of the day, and it's much softer at the beginning and at the end. So it makes such a difference to the image that you'll get, just purely what time of day you're doing it.
Yeah. 3 o'clock in the morning, like you're taking your muggle mates with you. Yeah, we're not getting up at that time. It's like even now, like people coming onto the show. No, we're not getting up at 8 o'clock to come and watch your show, Dani. It's not happening.
Oh, I know.
You've got to love it, haven't you? And
Yeah.
things like composition as well was something that I never really thought about. But like you say, it is addictive. I love taking photos of the kids. I love capturing moments with the kids. But the more I realised that actually composition is important to get a really great photo. For example, when Ivy was a baby, it's probably the best photo I've ever took. And it was late at night. It must have been, I got in from work and it must have been about 3-4 in the morning.
Yeah.
And Wallace is doing some design work, or he's doing some work on Hedera. And it was it was dark, but there was just the light of
Yeah.
the PC that was on them. And Wallace is like, he's led back and he's got Ivy like this, who's like sat up on his
Yeah.
chest, looking directly at me while he's concentrating. I have to show it you.
Yeah.
She's looking at me, and I got them right in the middle of the photo, and I was like made it black and white, and it was really super striking. They was like bathed in this like kind of PC light.
Yeah.
And he was concentrating on what he was doing, and she was just like
Just looking.
with him, just looking directly at me, and I was like, I can be a photographer. I know about composition. I am a very clever thing. But it is, once you start to see the benefit of constructing a shot or catching it with the right angle in the right way, hold it, like for me, it's always my phone. Holding my phone in the right sort of angle actually makes a massive difference to the quality.
I mean, it's huge. I mean, you can see it with phones. It's a bit like selfie poses, isn't it? You take a selfie from here, here underneath, up your nose and on your double chin, you sort of here, it's kind of straight on. Here, suddenly, all chins have gone. Everything looks perspective.
We are catfishing.
Absolutely. A few inches can make a lot of difference. Yes.
In many, many ways. In many ways. You were so naughty. So how have you found lockdown? Because all of us in the entertainment industry, the eventing industry, have had that particular leg of our businesses kicked out from underneath us. Yeah. What's been popping with that? We're 4.5 months in now.
Yeah.
What has that looked like for you? How have you found it? Has it been stressful? Have you found other ways to do things?
It's been interesting. The first sort of week or so was a bit disconcerting because I had a really packed diary full of lots of different events and different shoots I'd got booked. And it was sort of that first week when everybody sort of first lockdown, it was like ping, 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 and just sort of seeing your diary and that for shoots empty.
It was just like a sink with the water just draining out of it, and you're just there with an empty vessel.
You're just like, what the hell? Like I had this full diary. What on earth is going on? Because I teach, so I was still doing some teaching. And actually, I wasn't going to be teaching because I'd sort of been doing some, and then I was asked to do it, and I was kind of, no, I'm too busy. I've got too much on. I haven't got time. It's not really. I enjoy it. I do it a bit because I enjoy it. Actually, that it's really seeing people engage and seeing, like you say, seeing those light bulb moments when you see somebody think, I get it. That's the enjoyable thing. But it was more for those reasons. I thought I would give it a bit of a try because I enjoyed teaching my classes and things. And I hadn't been going to do it because I was just too busy. And then they were like, go on, please come back. So I was like, oh, okay then. Actually, I was quite pleased through lockdown. So that carried on. That was carrying on. There was some coaching that I was doing, and that carried on because that was happening remotely anyway. So I've actually been very busy in that sense, working. I've got back doing some shoots again. I've been doing some shoots again over the last few weeks. So
has it been nice to get back in the saddle, so to speak?
Yeah, it was weird though. The first one I went out to, it was almost a bit like you sort of forget, or you're thinking, like, what do I need to take again? Oh yeah, batteries, and it is a little bit like 3 months without a shoot, and you suddenly think it's like almost like, do I need a checklist to make sure I've got it?
I'm not dreading it, but I'm almost dreading, like, I have some gigs booked in at the later end of this year that I imagine by the time we get there, we'll be able to fulfill them. If they don't get cancelled, but I have all my gear, like all my leads and my mixing desk, and although I've sang online a little bit, it's not my favorite thing to do. I'm like, am I even going to remember the words? Am I even going to the songs that I've sung 50 million times that are part of my muscle memory? If I start singing them, my mouth's just going to finish the whole thing off anyway.
Definitely it will. But you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You
hundreds of songs.
It was weird, but I was, after that first one, I kind of thought, okay, I'm glad. Now I feel much more. I'm back in the swing.
Yeah, it's muscle memory, isn't it? In lots of ways. Especially when you've done gig after gig after gig, or like yourself, event after event after event, you kind of get into your own flow again. But I'm still even me, it makes me feel a bit anxious thinking, oh God, what's the first one I'm going to have back? Is it going to be a wedding? Is it going to be, if it's a pub or a club, I'm not asked, and they're not asked either, because the reason the pub or the club have booked me is because they know that they're going to have a laugh.
Yeah.
But and it's crazy to think that the decision that I've made over the over the lockdown period is that I'm not going to be doing those gigs anymore.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is really. Have you made any decisions like that over lockdown, or are you still like, I'm just going to do anything and everything?
I think it's definitely about being one of the things at lockdown, because I've been really busy. So all the people that have been saying, "Oh, I've done some decorating, I've done my garden," I've not done any of that. I've just worked.
Worked.
So what the thing it has taught me is, and it's sort of an obvious thing really, but it's something that it's easy to overlook. When you just get busy and you're doing things, you don't stop and think about we have limited time, and I've got a lot of different work things that I've got coming up, and and sort of from September some sort of various things that I know are going to be quite time consuming. So it's thinking, okay, I need to really be working with the people that I really want to work with. I'm not going to just say yes to everything, because you can't, you just can't.
Oh, I tried.
I know. Yeah. It's that thing, isn't it, where you don't, partly because there's an element of you want work, or partly because you want to please people and you want to help them.
Yeah.
It's easy to say yes, and then think, oh my goodness, how am I now going to squeeze it all in?
Yeah, and a lot of it for me was fear around money. Like, I'm the breadwinner in our house, so when a gig would present itself, that would be money that otherwise we wouldn't get. And having come from where I come from, that fear has been really, up to this point, really real. But lockdown for me has taught me that I don't need to do that. But it's having the revenue streams to do it. It's like you with the coaching and having the different aspects of your business under the same umbrella that makes sense, that are congruent. We talked about this yesterday, that allow you to be diverse in your delivery, so that if, for example, one modality, one bit, one way that your business doesn't work anymore, you've got something else that you can do.
Definitely.
And I didn't have that before a year ago.
No, and I was so pleased about the teaching and things and the coaching that, like you say, a year ago I wouldn't have been doing necessarily. Well, I probably would have been a bit with the teaching, but largely, and whereas I'd kind of probably was going to not do those things so much because I was so busy with, just generally with my photography. I was trying to squeeze in extra things. I'm so glad I am still doing it, because through this situation, it's kept me working. I've not had any of the sort of grants and things.
The fear.
Yeah.
and it is, everyone's experience has been so different. So different. And I think as entrepreneurs, we've had a very different experience as well. Like, for some of us, it has been a very lucrative time. For some of us, it's been a very scary time. And it almost feels like I look at the news. I try not to look at the news.
Yeah.
And a lot of I feel it makes me feel strange. I don't know about you. You've worked all the way through. The media is saying everyone's scared, and even people within our circle are saying everyone's scared, everyone's having a bad time, and I'm like, oh yeah. Oh, I better not talk about
I think there's a real mixture, and I think it's really divided how people have responded to it. I get this sort of fear element. I think I definitely did feel quite fearful, and I still think I felt a bit fearful before I went out for the first shoot. I kind of I found that I did find it quite hard. I was thinking, oh my goodness, I don't feel like I want to go, but I need to go. So but actually, having done it, I thought, actually I'm really pleased that you got back in the saddle a bit more. I think it has divided people how they've responded as well. I think I've really seen some people have just thought, okay, I need to adapt. I need to make changes where necessary, and keep, trying to sort of power on, even if it's in a slightly different way or a different pace. And some people have just sort of pulled the quilt up and, and disappeared, and it's fine. Different, you cope with things differently, and
everything's valid for everyone.
Ups and downs through this, it's at times it's been a bit of an emotional roller coaster, even though you feel okay. Kind of, it's extra stress, isn't it? It's extra anxiety and stress on you.
I feel like we need a whole holiday period from this, really, right? Like, we all need to go on holiday now. We've had this really stressful, intense time where we've all been feeling all the feels, all different ways, and I feel like now we all just need we need a jolly up.
For sure we need a jolly up. That's going to be happening, yeah.
And I guess the next time you and I will get a jolly up will be on the 10th of September at Be Inspired, which is dead exciting.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. It's very exciting. Yeah.
It is. It's going to be a great day. Now, what have you got coming up then? So what's coming up for you? What are you excited about?
Well, generally,
However, tell us about the things you're excited about.
Oh, what I'm excited about? I'm excited about so many things. I'm excited about some of the people that I haven't seen in ages, seeing them. I'm really excited about that.
I'll squeeze your face.
Yeah, definitely. That's because I think there's some, my children a bit. I've got my one daughter who lives with me. My son's in Scotland. I'm probably going to see him in August. My youngest daughter's in New Zealand, and I've not seen her for nearly a year. So
Wow.
it's probably going to be a bit longer before I see her. But thank God for the internet and FaceTime and, video calling, because, we can talk. I'm excited. I feel like I've got a lot of different business things going on. I've got a lot of people. I'm going to be all over the place because I'm just in the process of planning all these shoots all over the country at the minute with people. So I'm going to be zotting about. But it's exciting because it's people, isn't it? It's,
right.
I enjoy what I do with them. I enjoy giving them something that really is going to help boost them. But it's that interaction. It's the human element of it is one of the parts that I really enjoy about it, particularly.
Yeah.
Moving more of my stuff online. So some of the courses and things that I was doing, some of that's shifting over.
Nice.
So it's much more easy to sort of access that online. Yeah, just lots of different things going on, really.
Amazing. So everybody who's watching, of course, they love you because you are fabulous and I love you. How do we hang out with you more? Tell us more about where to find you.
Well, you can find me on definitely on socials. You can find me on my Facebook page a bit. You can find me. I have a group which I've been really remiss with because I sort of got so busy with doing things. So I'm kind of actually thinking I may actually slightly shelve that and start a different one and run it in a different place. You can, but definitely hook up with me. I'm a talker. So I like talking to people. I like engaging, chewing the fat. And so, and I think sometimes people, if there's something they feel uncertain about, they don't have the conversation. And I would say, have the conversation. It frustrates me because I see sometimes I want people to be able to really showcase themselves in the best way. And sometimes you see people and they're not. And you just think, I actually really, really could help you. And this isn't necessarily about a money thing, me trying to sort of get people to buy from me. It's about me wanting, it's like I do talks about it sometimes, about the fact that people feel like they're invisible and they'll say, but I'm really good at what I do. I've got this great service. I offer a great thing, but it's like nobody can see me. And what I want to do is I want to stop people scrolling so that when they see your picture, they see the still, they stop, they think, oh, that's interesting. Oh, that is good. Let me find out more. And at that point, copy is good. You want great words about you. Video is great and lives, but people
have to stop the traffic in the first instance.
They've got to, absolutely. You've got to stop them scrolling in the first instance. And that's where stills are so, so powerful. Yeah. It's a big business, advertising photography, because it works, because it makes a difference. And so
time and time again, like, the shots that you and I did together, they went into the national press. Because they were so striking and they were so relevant to what it is that I was doing and what I was talking about. But they really are showstoppers. When I use them, I get lots and lots of engagement, and it is having that knowledge of how to make those things happen instead. It's dead cool.
It's assets. It's having it and having on your desktop, on your computer, having a folder of images that ideally maybe portray you in slightly different ways, that say different things about you, that if you have a magazine get in touch with you and say, right, we're going to do an article about you and send us a picture, you haven't got time then to start thinking, oh, I need to get my hair done and go for a photo shoot. You need to have it there on your desktop, good to go, ready to ping it straight off.
Really
have
does
those
make
assets.
your PR ready. Definitely makes your PR ready. And again, I've been working with Joe Swan from Chocolate PR, and the press that we've got has been fantastic, but definitely buoyed along by the quality photos that I've been able to provide them with very quickly. The journal request will go out on Twitter. We can respond very quickly. With our story, with my story, but with those really great epic images as well. So
They don't hang about. Deadlines are fast with things like that. You know, it'll be something will go out and we go to, press tomorrow, or we go.
Yeah,
Yes,
deadline 4 p.m. today. All right, fucking hell. So thank you so much for joining us this morning, my angel. I cannot wait to see you for a consensual hug in the not too distant future.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. Please do go and find out more about Vicki Head Photography across of the socials. You can find out more about her or connect with her. I know she won't mind. I've got to kick you backstage and I'll see you in a minute, my angel.
Thank you very much. Lovely to see you.
Love you. That was Vicki Head, everybody, and another fabulous show this morning here on the Show Up, Rise Up show. Do you want me to share what's coming up the rest of this week? Couple of days left. Tomorrow, we've got Kalini Kent is going to be joining us, talking all things communications and confidence. And then on Friday, we are going to be talking about the monies. We have got Claire Sweet, financial advisor, financial guru. Claire Sweet is going to be joining us on Friday to talk about the money. It's one of my favorite topics. And it wasn't once upon a time. And one of the things that I want you guys to think about is, does money make you uncomfortable? Is it interesting, the feelings that is evoked when people talk about money around you? It's interesting because this time last year, on this very day last year, I found myself in Malta with my now very, very good friends, Sam Barefoot, Lisa Johnson, Nikki James, all of whom are, multiple six-figure earners. And I had 300 quid in my bank and have moved my business into crazy places, just about to bust six figures in 12 months ourselves. And it has been an interesting process, starting to think about money and starting to think about what money means to me and getting rid of those blocks and working out how to make myself more comfortable, how to fall in love with it and not to have it be uncouth. So please do join us on Friday for that as we get to grips. I'm sure she'll have some incredible tips for us in the world of money and finance. That's Claire Sweet on Friday. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. Please keep your eyes peeled on the Queen Bee Dani page on my Instagram, the Queen Bee Dani. If you don't follow me already, please do go and follow me on Instagram. I will be announcing a little bit later today my VIP one-to-one package. It will be the only way going forward to be able to work with me one-to-one outside of a mastermind, which is really, really exciting, really high end, ready for those people who are established in business but want to get talking about it and making sure that they get more press opportunities and make sure they get more confidence, make sure that they get all of the incredible things, but we do it in a really intensive environment, which is super, super exciting. So keep your eyes peeled later today for more details on that. If anyone wants to know about it, please get in my inbox. I'm more than happy to share it with you before I launch it later on. But that's it from me today. There are just 15 tickets left to be inspired. If you haven't got your ticket to be inspired, please do make sure you go and grab yours, because once the tickets are gone, they are gone. We've had to limit tickets this time because of social distancing. We want to keep you all super safe. So there are only 65 tickets available. There are only 15 left. Can you believe it? And that's, it's a couple of months away. It's crazy. We were still selling tickets right up until the end last time. But you all who came last time had such a fabulous experience that you wanted to come again. And so many more of you that are new to the IATQB movement are wanting to get involved. So make sure you go to Eventbrite. If any of you don't mind sharing the link to that, that would be epic. But Eventbrite, search Be Inspired, BEE Inspired. That's Manchester. 15 tickets left, and then we are sold out. That is it for the day. Make sure you join us tomorrow with Kalini Kent at 8 o'clock for the Show Up, Rise Up show. In the meantime, have a super awesome Wednesday. Be it productive, be it a day of self-care, whatever it is that you need to do, go get it done. I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow.